Have you ever read the chilling story in the Bible, found in Judges 11, of a man who made a vow to offer his own daughter as a sacrifice to God? A story so shocking, it's often overlooked. But today, we will delve deep into this harrowing tale, verse by verse, revealing its tragic details. Please be advised, this story is not suitable for all ages and may be inappropriate for minors, as it contains themes that could be distressing and trigger trauma. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Many are familiar with the tragic story found in Judges 11, but do you know how it truly ends? Stay with us as we uncover this unsettling narrative and explore the lessons we can learn from it. The story begins with Jephthah, a mighty warrior of Israel, a man of valor, who rose from humble and troubled beginnings. Jephthah was the son of Gilead, but his mother was a prostitute. Despite this, he grew up strong and became a leader among his people. But life had not been easy for Jephthah. He was driven out by his own brothers, and he became an outcast. However, when the Ammonites waged war against Israel, the elders of Gilead turned to Jephthah, pleading for his help. Jephthah agreed to lead them against their enemies, but he made a vow to the Lord in his desperation. And here, in verse 30, is where the story takes a tragic turn. Jephthah, filled with zeal and desperation, made a rash vow to the Lord. He said, "If you give the Ammonites into my hands, whatever comes out of the door of my house to meet me when I return in triumph from the Ammonites will be the Lord's, and I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering." Verse 31. A moment that would seal the fate of his beloved daughter. Jephthah defeated the Ammonites with the Lord's help, and he returned home victorious. But as he approached his house, his heart must have been pounding with both excitement and anxiety. He knew he had made a vow, but perhaps he had not fully comprehended the gravity of his words. And then, in verse 34, the unthinkable happened. As Jephthah arrived at his home, his only child, his daughter, came out to meet him, dancing to the sound of timbrels. She was his joy, his pride, the light of his life. And in that instant, the full weight of his vow came crashing down upon him. Jephthah tore his clothes and cried out, "Oh no, my daughter! You have brought me down, and I am devastated. I have made a vow to the Lord that I cannot break." His daughter, realizing the gravity of her father's promise, responded with a grace and strength that is both awe-inspiring and heartbreaking. She said to him, "My father, you have given your word to the Lord. Do to me just as you promised, now that the Lord has avenged you of your enemies, the Ammonites. But grant me this one request," she said. "Give me 2 months to roam the hills and weep with my friends, because I will never marry." And so, in verses 37 and 38, we see a tragic and heartbreaking scene unfold. Jephthah's daughter went away for 2 months to the mountains with her friends, mourning her fate, mourning her life that would never be. This is why we warned you that this story may not be suitable for minors or those sensitive to trauma. The idea of a young woman losing her future, her dreams, and her life because of a rash promise made by her father is deeply distressing. When the 2 months ended, she returned to her father, and he did to her as he had vowed. The Bible does not explicitly state what happened next, but it is implied that Jephthah fulfilled his vow, offering his daughter as a burnt sacrifice. The tragedy here is not just in the loss of her life, but in the needless suffering that came from a hasty promise made in a moment of desperation. The story of Jephthah and his daughter is filled with profound lessons, and it challenges us to think deeply about the consequences of our actions and the commitments we make. 1. The danger of rash vows. One of the most striking lessons from this story is the danger of making rash promises, especially to God. Jephthah's vow was made in a moment of desperation, seeking divine favor in his battle against the Ammonites. However, he did not fully consider the potential outcome of his words. This teaches us the importance of careful thought and consideration before making any promises, particularly those that involve others or commitments to God. Words have power, and a promise made without foresight can lead to severe, even devastating, consequences. We must learn to be thoughtful and deliberate with our words, ensuring that our promises are made with wisdom and understanding, not in haste or under pressure. 2. Understanding the weight of our words. Jephthah's story also reminds us of the weight that our words carry, particularly when they involve a vow or an oath. In biblical times, vows were taken very seriously, and breaking a vow was considered a grave offense against God. This is still relevant today. The words we speak, especially those spoken in prayer or in a moment of solemn commitment, are not to be taken lightly. They reflect our intentions, our character, and our relationship with God and others. This story serves as a cautionary tale to weigh our words carefully and to understand the seriousness of the commitments we make, whether in our personal lives, our spiritual lives, or our dealings with others. 3. The consequences of impulsive decisions. Jephthah's decision to make a vow without thinking it through had irreversible consequences, not just for him, but tragically, for his innocent daughter. This highlights another critical lesson: the importance of not making impulsive decisions, especially when the stakes are high. It's a reminder that decisions made in the heat of the moment, under emotional duress or without full understanding, can lead to outcomes that we cannot undo. In our own lives, we must strive to make decisions with a calm and clear mind, considering all potential outcomes and seeking counsel when necessary. The story of Jephthah urges us to pause, reflect, and seek divine wisdom before acting. 4. The impact of our choices on others. Jephthah's story is a stark reminder that our choices do not only affect us, they can profoundly impact the lives of others, often in ways we may not foresee. Jephthah's vow, though made with the best intentions, led to a tragic and unnecessary loss. This aspect of the story teaches us to consider the broader implications of our actions and decisions, especially those that involve or affect others. We must recognize that our actions can have far-reaching effects, rippling out to touch the lives of our families, communities, and beyond. The story calls us to act responsibly, always mindful of the potential impact on those around us. 5. The value of wisdom and discernment. Another important lesson is the value of wisdom and discernment in our actions. Jephthah's story illustrates the consequences of acting without seeking wise counsel or considering the full implications of a decision. It teaches us the importance of seeking wisdom, whether through prayer, reflection, or the advice of trusted others, before making significant decisions. In our own lives, we are called to seek God's guidance and to be discerning in our choices, understanding that wisdom is a valuable asset that can help us avoid unnecessary suffering and pain. The story of Jephthah and his daughter in Judges 11 is more than just a tragic tale. It is a powerful narrative that offers deep and enduring lessons. It challenges us to think carefully about our words and actions, to seek wisdom and discernment in our decisions, and to recognize the profound impact of our choices on ourselves and others. As we reflect on this story, may we be reminded to live thoughtfully, speak carefully, and seek wisdom and understanding in all that we do. Thank you for joining us in exploring this difficult but important story. If you found this exploration meaningful, please like and subscribe to our channel, Be Edified Daily, for more in-depth discussions of the Bible's most compelling stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay thoughtful, and stay blessed.